Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this exciting webinar. And more importantly, thank you for taking time out of your half term. My name's Lawrence Tajani, and I'm an EdTech consultant, and I'm the founder of Just a Guy Foundation. So I've introduced myself. I just want to outline what we'll be doing on this webinar. So on this webinar, we'll be talking about the Google certifications that are available. I'll also share a little bit about my journey. I've also invited some certified Google trainers to tell their story. And we'll also be hearing from some Googlers about their vision. And then finally, how can you apply for this exciting mentoring scheme? Next slide, please, Ben. Just like to say also, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat as well. So a little background about me. I taught for 11 years in a secondary school in central London. I was a computing teacher and head of faculty. I absolutely loved teaching, but needed a career change due to health reasons. Next slide, please, Ben. So my first interaction with G Suite products wasn't actually with education. It was with my business. I had signed up for a Google Apps pilot scheme for businesses to keep costs down. But I didn't really think about using this in my school. Next slide, please. My first interaction, after finding out other schools were using G Suite, I piloted it in my classroom. And I must add, I'm going to be completely honest here, it wasn't with much success. I did that schoolboy error and got really excited about the technology and didn't actually prepare my students fully. So that was one of my setbacks there. Once I approached it more logically, I found success and began to roll it out across the school. But again, there was a bit of slow uptake in that. Where I really started to see the true power of Google was at a back to school summit. And I heard stories of how other schools were using this platform. I actually met Dean there, and you'll hear from him soon. Next slide, please. After the summit, I attended a boot camp, which was led by Ben. And again, you'll meet him soon. And he really encouraged me to take my level 1 and my level 2 certifications. I really enjoyed the training and sharing how it impacted in my lessons and wider school. And that's when I found out about there was a community in the UK, but also across the world, that was using G Suite. I was encouraged by Dean to start delivering a level 1 bootcamp. And to be honest, I was pretty hesitant, but I was keen to give it a try. My doubt at that time was that I wasn't good enough to be delivering CPD outside of my school. Thankfully, I received a lot of feedback and support from Dean and Ben. And actually, the feedback I received from the attendees that I went to for the first time propelled me forward and encouraged me to think about, actually, I could do this. And in 2019, I became a certified trainer. And again, this was due to encouragement from other people within my community of new trainers that I had met to really take this up and to try this. So I went through that journey. And like I said earlier, I became certified in 2019. Next slide, please. At the end of 2019, I became an innovator. But my journey to becoming an innovator wasn't straightforward. There are a number of cohorts that happen during the year. And there was one in London in 2019. Ben had mentioned to me in passing. And I thought, yeah, I'll do that. But I made every excuse not to actually do the training. And it was only until I looked at why I was making the excuses of why not to do the training, It was that classic imposter syndrome. And also, I started to think I didn't really belong in the scene, on the training circuit. After having some serious FOMO of seeing all the tweets and all the stuff across social media of some of my colleagues that were at the London Innovator Academy, I then decided to actually apply for Sweden. And again, that was having a conversation with Ben, who I spoke to a lot about my journey, and he supported me. And in a bit, I'll talk about why I've mentioned Ben a few times and actually how this is also fed into this pilot scheme. So I flew out to Sweden to complete the 3 days and was successful. I'm currently working on a project which is a mentoring app for students. So I'm really excited about that. And I probably wouldn't have started that app, the mentoring app, if I didn't go on to that Innovator Academy. And it's been one of the far best training CPDs that I've ever been on in terms of challenging like your way of thinking and solving problems too. Next slide, please. So why have we created this program? And I'm going to be completely honest of why we completed it. Is there's a lack of BAME representation in the EdTech community. And this is across different EdTech meetup, teach meets, workshops that I've attended over the last 15 years of actually not seeing someone like myself presenting, or people from other ethnic minorities too. Next slide, please. And what a chance. Why does this program benefit you? It's a chance to enrich your tech skills and have impact on your school and your community. The certifications give you a practical techniques to implement G Suite within your lessons or wider context. You'll learn about various exciting career opportunities. Lots of individuals have found the certifications to open up different career paths and opportunities within their schools or elsewhere. And this is even more important at this time, particularly during COVID, where we've had to switch to remote learning. So this could potentially aid your career, and you could potentially be the EdTech lead at your school. There's nothing stopping you from doing that as well. It increases your PLN, your personal learning network, and they have been a massive support to me from the beginning and even up until now in terms of helping me promote this event, share it with their colleagues too. So I am really excited about this program, and I really hope it does benefit you. I will be back to talk about the actual mentoring scheme. But before I do that, I'd just like to hand over to Dean Stokes, who's the adoption manager, and he's going to go through what Google are doing and how they're supporting this. Thank you.
Thanks, Lawrence, and hi, everybody, and thanks for coming along today. I'll apologize now because they've decided to dig up the road outside my apartment, so if you hear that, apologies in advance. I'm really pleased to see Lawrence's hard work come together today to deliver this initial event and the ongoing sessions that you'll find out a bit more about later. Now, Google is committed to continuing to make diversity, equity, and inclusion part of everything it does. And I see opportunities like this one playing an important part in making sure our education programs genuinely represent the communities that they serve. So whether you're interested in increasing your confidence by certifying yourself through our educator exams, or becoming a certified trainer to support others in your school, or even more widely in future through a business of your own, we want to make sure that you have the support and guidance you might need to get there. Now, Google's work extends far beyond education, but I hope that programs like this one, being led by Just a Guy Foundation, will in some way support meaningful change, not only within our own communities of certified educators, trainers, innovators, and coaches, which you'll find out more about today, but actually more widely within education and education leadership across the UK and beyond. Now, this initial program aimed at Black, Asian, and minority ethnic communities is really just the beginning. Your feedback is going to be important for us to learn from as we deliver more opportunities like this in future. If you want to find out more about Google's company-wide commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion, you can visit the website at diversity.google. I know that seems like a strange URL, but it really is just .google. And once again, a massive thanks for coming along. And I'm really excited to meet lots of you in future as you work through your EdTech journeys, and perhaps even in person once the world is a bit more back to normal. So thanks again. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your successes come together as we move forward.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you for joining us on this, and thank you for supporting this as well. Thank you. We've got another Googler now. Unfortunately, she hasn't been able to join us on the live stream, but she recorded a message, and she is the Google for Education Certified Trainer Program Manager. So she's going to play a short clip on this. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Mei Ju and I am the program owner of our Certified Trainer program here at Google for Education. I'm also the owner of our GEG program that ties really closely with our trainers. So I'm really excited that you guys are about to have an awesome event. I'm so sorry I can't be there in person. It is around, I think, 2:30 a.m. my time here in the US. But I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Apps Events, to Lawrence, to Google for Education, Applied Digital Skills for putting this together. I think it is so crucial to really start focusing on our mentorship and our BAME educators. And I really hope that our current community members who are Black, Asian, or minority ethnicity-wise can really step up as educators, mentors to new educators who might normally not get this opportunity. I know that when I was teaching, I taught at a low-income, high-need school here in East San Jose. And I wish that I had a mentor who knew the resources that Google can provide, who knows that resources are out there on social media, and to work with colleagues, because I was in this bubble of me and my colleagues, and none of us had any additional knowledge of how to gain more resources to use technology in a more meaningful way in our school and our district with our students. So I'm really, really happy that I'm able to partner with Lawrence, with Ben, and everyone to be able to kick off this awesome event. Hope you guys have a great time, and thank you again.
May said there, it is about actually mentoring and your network of actually, how could I get involved in this? What is this Google for Education? And it's probably starting with the why, and that's very important that we do that. Is we just want to provide opportunities from people from a BAME background to have access to some of these resources, to understand the certifications, to be able to find out where these meetups, where the gig might occur. And Ab is going to be talking about that briefly as well. So you've heard about my story. It's not all about me today. It's not about me at all. It's about all of us. So what I wanted to do is to bring on some other Google certified trainers and get them to talk about their journey briefly. So who becomes a certified Google trainer? Let's hear from some. So we've got Zaitun. So hopefully she'll be coming on. Hi, Zaitun. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You've got an amazing journey, and I would just love it if you could share it with the audience today. So I'm just going to hand over to you and stop talking.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Zaytoon. I'm an SLE, that's a specialist leader in education, in integrating technology, and I'm also the EdTech lead for teaching and learning at my school. We're a small school, well, quite a big school in a small town up north, northwest, in a very deprived area. So when we started to look at Google for Education apps and the program that it entails, we had a different idea in our head as to why we needed to go down the Google route. quite quickly, for me, it was the stepping stone that I was needing in terms of my career. I've been in education for 13 years. I've been a teacher of science, and I needed something to step up what I was doing in terms of my career. So when this came about, Google for Education at my school, I started to look into how we can use these tools, and I really started to train myself on the very basic tools within like the Google Docs and the Google Forms and so forth. And then the passion grew. When the passion grew, there was 3 members of staff, and all 3 of us really enjoyed what we were doing, and we decided that we want to lead this across the school. So we took 25 other members of staff on our journey, and we made them Google champions within the school, each faculty having their own champion. We still wanted to see what was more, what was out there, who else was out there. So we asked our head teacher if we would if he would allow us to go to one of the apps events in Europe. It was at Zurich in Switzerland, and he allowed us to go. And it was the most amazing CPD that we've ever had. And we went out there and we met Dan. And from Dan, he introduced us to Ben and Dean. So when we came back here, thinking about this little bubble that we were living in, that we didn't know anybody out there. We didn't know there was a PLN out there. We didn't know that Google for Education, what it was about at that time. And I got in contact with Ben, got in contact with Dean, and we got the ball rolling. And before you knew it, I was on Twitter, and I ended up with this huge PLN of people, of all this support to keep this edtech going within my school. Quite quickly, we went one-to-one with Chromebooks across the school. And again, I was managing all the Chromebooks across the school. That's 1,200 students and staff, another 70 staff on top of that. Managing all the Chromebooks across the school and making sure that the learning that the students were getting from the teachers, that the actual technology was a tool for them. So I was encouraging teachers on how to use this tool and really start to embed it within their lessons. And we brought back some of those dull lessons and we gave them a whole new lease of life. And it was an amazing journey to see. That then encouraged me that I wanted to get onto becoming a level 1 educator, level 2 educator, and then quite quickly I became a trainer. Now, it was really, really important that after I got to trainer that I wouldn't stop. An amazing opportunity appeared where London 19 for the Google Innovator Program happened, and I applied and I got in. And my idea was to streamline the CPD within my school, to give it a platform, to give it a place where everybody could go to, that we can rewatch all the CPD that we get in school, comment on it, have some kind of feedback and learn off each other, collaborate properly on one platform. That was my idea. That was my vision. And I went to this innovator program and boom, it became reality. And I've spent a year, had an amazing mentor, had people coaching me, encouraging me all the way through to become, to create this platform. And now my school are using my platform. I'm now rolling it out across the mat and we're making it into a proper product. That's not where my journey stopped though with Google for Education. Google for Education has given me a platform upon platform to share my story. I have not performed, but I have spoken and presented at BET 2020. I've also applied for the EdTech 50 award, and we were successful in that. I also so many different partnerships in which I have been the main presenter, and it's been amazing to stand up being a part of this unique group of people and to be able to say, this is me, this is EdTech, and this is what I am doing, and to have people actually praising what we are doing and seeing me as a leader and leading EdTech across my school. So that's my story. And I hope you find it. I've got people on who are here today who I'm coaching at the moment and getting their schools up to where we are. So if you have any questions, do feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Zaitun. That was brilliant. I'm going to move quickly on to Abid, who's going to join us now. And Abid took a different route, or is more or less from a different background in terms of he's an IT director. But anyone who works in ed tech, or he's even a teacher, knows how important a great IT director is, a great IT technician. So I'm going to hand over to Abid and let him share his story. Thank you, Abid.
Thanks, Lawrence. It's great to be here today, and thank you so much for hosting this this event. It's really important, and we can see the desire for representation is so really high. As for me, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Abid Patel. I'm the IT director at Leading Learning Trust, and really echoing parts of Zaytoon's story, really, and Lawrence, as to how I got into the Google for Education journey. I was at the time I was an IT manager for my multi-academy trust of 2 schools here in London, and what really kicked off my journey was when we had a flood in the server room, and which killed our server, and we had quotes for like £25,000 to recover from it, and I basically decided to take on the work myself to do the disaster recovery. And it was at that point we were kind of looking at cloud implementations, but it wasn't really that much of it wasn't really that popular in schools at the time. And so I proposed the G Suite for Education platform to my school leaders, and they agreed that it was a good way forward, because we didn't have the £25,000 to do a disaster recovery into what we currently had anyway. And so that's what started my journey. And then from there we went to I followed up more and more, wanting to learn more about G Suite for Education, and then I was the one who was bringing this new solution in, so I needed to learn how to train my staff in getting there. And so basically I went, I think it was the Back to School Summit, which Darren in the chat has said that it was about 3 years ago today. And it's amazing how many people that I know and call good friends today were at that event, and we didn't know at the time. But that's kind of what kicked off my journey into then becoming Google certified, and then a certified innovator with Zaytoon in the London 19 Academy. And I think what kind of, after the Innovator Academy, which was in July 2019, we were flying high on the coattails of Google for Education, and we wanted to know, like, we wanted to just keep on that passion, and we wanted to pay it forward, and we wanted more and more people to go on the journey that we've been on. And so that's when I spoke to a few colleagues, and they said that, have you looked at the GEG program? And I was like, no, not really. And I learned that the GEG program, which is Google Educator Groups, which is a worldwide program of local communities built up of educators, really advocating for Google tools. And I know that the GEG program had kind of died down a bit because of the fact that Google Plus, where most of the communities lived, had been discontinued. And so I wanted to help build that community up again. And so I was fortunate enough to become the leader for GEG UK in January, and we had all these wonderful plans of how to spring that forward, with lots of opportunities for events and trainings and things like that. But then obviously COVID hit, and then those plans kind of got thrown out the window. And what we realized was there was a group of innovators around the world who I'd become really good friends with and collaborated together, and we all became GEG leaders in our own communities. And so we thought, well, one thing that lockdown has taught us is the only way we're interacting is through the screen. And so it kind of broke down our barriers, and then we then went on to form the global GEG in May, and that kind of just amazingly just blew up so wonderfully. And we were able to build that group of GEG leaders from all around the world. We got a huge GEG presence. There are so many Google Educator groups that are being launched. We've had very recent launches in the last couple of weeks, just in India and some of the areas where it's really up and coming, and it's been really great and inspiring to see. We've hosted so many events over lockdown that have really helped to inspire teachers and other educators to get their level 1s and 2 certifications and hopefully go on to start their own journeys. And it's been amazing, inspirational to see that growth. And I think the BAME representation really helps here, because we're able to then connect with people from all around the world, and we've got contacts in places, and we had none of that last year. And it's I like to say it's one of the positive things that has come through from the COVID-19 lockdowns, which has been a challenging time for all of us. But we fondly look back at lockdown and think, without lockdown, global GG might not have happened. And it's such an amazing and inspirational thing. And coming back to one thing that Lawrence asked me to talk about is my journey as an IT director. I've always felt that that imposter syndrome, being the IT guy in what was historically a room full of teachers, and I'd feel like I'm not right to be here, and they'd be like, no, without you, we can't do what we want to do, and things like that. And the one thing that I always say to my fellow IT professionals is go out there and show your passion for wanting to do what's right for the children and for the educators, and trust me, without the Google for Education journey, I wouldn't be an IT director today. I wouldn't be a Google certified innovator, one of the founding members of Global GEG. And just the passion and inspiration that we've got has been amazing. And really recommend everyone to get connected with your local GGs. I know there's some links that have gone out in the chat. Feel free to get connected with GEG UK or Global GEG if you're not from the UK, and someone will be willing to help you put you in touch with your local communities, and so you can hopefully start your stories. But that's pretty much my journey.
Take you so much, Abid. And again, it's another amazing journey and story to where you got to. And I think the main thing to take out, particularly from the first two speakers, is everyone's journey is going to look different, but what's always going to remain there is that you will have a support network. And that's something that I definitely did find with doing my Google certifications, because it opened me up to this whole new PLN. I was like, the first time I heard it, I was like, what's a PLN? What's that about? I was like, another acronym that I need to learn. But it was one of the most important ones that I did learn. Thank you so much, Abid. And please join the GEG group. The links are in the chat as well. Thank you, Abid. So we've got some other stories, journeys, but I'm also aware of time as well. But at the same note, this is such an important event. I just want to get some different journeys into the slide deck. We will be sharing this out with you. So at this moment in time, I'm going to actually invite Ben onto the screen, who has been working in the background and helping me with this event. And I've mentioned his name a few times, like quite a bit. And what I didn't realize when I was speaking to my wife, Sheridan, is that actually Ben had been mentoring me informally. We just never put that formal title on there in terms of, pushing me to do my level 1, my trainer and stuff like that. So Ben, welcome to the stream. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, our informal mentoring, which has turned it, well, it's just friendly now, isn't it?
Yeah, you are my friend now. It's all right. We can say that publicly. I know you wanted that. But Ben will talk about his role and also about the certifications. But what we're quickly going to do is just go through other people's journeys so far. So we got Osai, who I've actually had the pleasure of working with. I think it was about 2 years ago when I did a Step Up for Digital Skills for Disadvantaged Children. And that was at the Google headquarters when we were able to meet in person. And as you can see here with Osai, he's got different certifications. And like I said, this is just a starting point. I'm starting with what I know and what I can potentially have impact on. we're trying to have impact. Eventually, the vision for Just a Guy Foundation is that it's across all EdTech BAME representation.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if you're using different tools in your school, then there are equivalent certifications available that you can look up. Obviously, we're going to spend a bit of time talking about the Google ones, but as you can see from OC's slide there's a few other ones, such as Adobe, Microsoft, and Apple, that you can have a look at as well. Also, I think we're talking about the UK, but it's good to be aware of trailblazers like Sandy. She's based in Sweden, and you can see from her little synopsis that one of her big takeaways is that network that she's been able to gather through the program. And she's sort of leading technology in a number of schools that she's worked in across Europe. We've also got, going even more global, we've got Kim Lane Clark, who's one of the trainers that we work with in the US. Kim's got a computer science background, is really, really passionate, particularly about boosting the representation of girls in STEM related subjects, as well as sort of Black women in tech that you'll see there as well. So again, but she talks about that personal learning network. This is another place we might go in the future with it, is to look outside the UK, but you can look outside and see lots of trailblazers you can work with as well. And then also Harmeet, who's based in the UK, and as well as the certifications we've talked about so far, you might notice that his school is a Google reference school. So schools that are using G Suite tools can become reference schools. So again, if your school, if you feel that you're using technology really effectively, or you want to build that, then becoming a reference school like Zaytoon or Harmeet's school is something that you can do to showcase the effective use of technology in your schools as well. Which is why we really hope that we can reach out to as many people as possible and start to build representation in the sector as much as we can.
Brilliant.
Back to you, Lawrence.
Oh, it's back to me. Oh, thank you, Ben. But I think it's back to you, Ben, because you're going to.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
So there's a range of people taking different journeys. I am aware of the time, so we're going to go through the certifications, and then we're going to talk about the actual application process for our first cohort. So over to you, Ben.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so after being a maths teacher for 13 years in various schools, my last school was New Addington, before that was in Epsom. Over the last sort of 3 years, I've been UK Director for Apps Events, which means we're a Google for Education partner. We do training. And what we wanted to have a look at is putting our skill set together to support you in getting through those certifications, the kind of training we do all the time. So the level 1 certification that we've talked about recently is a focus on the core G Suite apps like Gmail and Drive and Meet and Slides and Sheets and things like that. So that's the one that I would say builds your proficiency with the tools as an educator. Level 2 then goes a bit wider and deeper, and we'll start looking at some of the third-party tools. So if anyone's used Text Help or Book Creator or Explain Everything, it starts to look a little bit more at some of those wider tools, including the additional tools like YouTube and Blogger that Google have as well, to sort of extend your understanding of where technology can support learning. And then trainer. So if you get to the point where you're starting to have the occasional conversation with someone about how they can use technology in their classroom, and you can see here, there is an application video for the trainer certification, and there's Abid's. So if you're getting to the stage where you're starting to help others, then the trainer certification after you've got level 1 and 2 is what we want to hope we can take as many people as possible towards through this program. However, the point being that what we've noticed is that the sector currently does not sort of feel as representative as it could be and should be. So us doing the training is one thing. We do a lot of training. We did a lot in person, but of course now it's all from my basement office. But the key thing that I want to pass back to Lawrence on is the additional bit we're putting into this program. In addition to the training sessions and the Google Classroom for support and the chat group and the exam vouchers, is the mentoring. And I wanted to just make sure we get to that and finish up with that important part of this program.
Thank you, Ben. If you can just go on to the next slide, please. So, as Ben mentioned earlier, we've delivered, or I've also delivered boot camps, and a lot of people will potentially go and do their level 1. But what we wanted to do with this mentoring scheme is to be with you from step 1 all the way to potentially becoming a Google certified trainer, and that wraparound and that support for you. And you can drop in and to our office hours and ask questions about your journey. We also want to hear from different voices. You'll also be able to hear from different voices from Google trainers across the world, because it's a global initiative in terms of getting people in to speak to you about actually how you can get started, how you can actually go from just creating your sessions, the basics of that. This is something I am so passionate about. And with the support of the people that I've got around me, I have no doubt that this scheme will be a success. Okay. You'll also, once you've got your level 2, you'll be guided through the application process, because there is a bit where you do have to create your Google trainer video, and you'll be able to speak to people, myself, Ben, and again, other educators across the world as well. Next slide, please. So the application process to join the first cohort, I'm going to go through the main criteria, and please, I encourage everyone to please try and apply for this, and also send it on to other people as well. So you need to be from a BAME background. You need to be UK based, because this pilot scheme is just focusing on the UK at the moment. And you need to be currently working in education. So you can be an LSA, a teaching assistant, classroom teacher, and as Abid's journey, you could be an IT technician, IT director as well. We're limited to 25 spaces, and that's just for the moment. That's just for this year. We are potentially looking in to see if we can run more cohorts next year in 2021. And this is something new. So we're going to be taking your feedback and improving this program. This isn't something just for now. This is something that I potentially want to see stay. So just the dates, the 6th of November, and there's 25 spaces. So please do apply. Next slide. Next slide, please, Ben. So on the application, we have one big question. You have your general information that we just need to collect from you. But the question that we are asking is, if money was not an issue at your school, how would you like to see EdTech, should I say, impact learning? So this could be anything. We're giving you a chance here to be creative. So please, speak to other Google certified trainers in the GED group as well. And just think about, if you've had money and it wasn't an issue, how would EdTech impact learning in your school? Next slide, please. So the link for the application is just there, bit.ly, BAME sign up, all lowercase. And I think it leads me to this point to actually say a massive thank you for, number one, taking time off during your half term to come and watch this. And thank you for everything you're doing for the education sector during this difficult time. And I really would love to see an abundance of applications, so I can actually have reason to say, let's run this again next year. But I'm passionate about this, and I think it will be an amazing opportunity to work with you across the UK as well. So a big thank you to Ben for helping me put this together. Thank you to Abid and Zaitoon for sharing their journey, and the other trainers that shared their journey on the slide. If you have any questions, please do email me on info@justaguide.co.uk. And yeah, just want to say a really big thank you. I'm overwhelmed about the support that I have received over the last week, because we only set this up in a week, and look at where we are when we come together, and you've got that community who just help you out. I'd like to thank all the other trainers across the world that have supported this project as well, by simply sharing it and retweeting it. as well. And if there's only one little thing I would suggest is like, please share this, because there are some people who probably weren't aware about this stream, and it just takes you to forward on that email, to DM them or something like that, and it gives them an opportunity to join this great program. Thank you all. And Abid and Zaitun, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that, but I just want to say a massive thank you again. As you can see, look at this smile. I'm absolutely buzzing about this. Thank you, guys.
Can I just also say thank you, Lawrence, as well, because this is something you say we put it together in a week. I mean, we talked about it for longer, right? So it's been something we've been toying around with, about how the sector doesn't represent everyone that's sitting in front of us, doesn't represent everyone in the classroom. And it's something that we've now got off the ground thanks to you. So I think a huge thank you to you and all your hard work. And I'm really excited about what comes next. So
I'm just really excited, and I don't take well compliments and stuff like that, but I think it's a massive team effort, and I'm just really excited the feedback I've got, and hopeful that we'll have impact. And I think the main thing that I just want to kind of touch on is that my vision is that actually in 2 or 3 years' time, there is a very diverse Google certified trainer group. And when we're allowed to go back to events, that I'm seeing a range of different people, gender, everything. I just because the community is so great, I just want to share this with people as well.
I noticed there was a request for the link again. It's just got up there again, bit.ly/BAME sign up if you're interested in getting on the program. So please pass that around.
Thank you. I don't know if Abid is like, you want to say anything before we leave? If there's like one bit of information you would like, or one bit of advice you would like, I'm putting you on the spot, that you would give to people.
Well, firstly, just to resonate Ben's sentiments, really. Thank you, Lawrence, for putting this together. And I know you're saying it's a team effort, but I think everyone who knows you has seen how much of a champion you've been for this. So really, thank you for that. And my one piece of advice would be just I know others have mentioned it about the PLN, but it's so not just important, but it's so helpful, and it will help you to build that confidence. Really, that's something that I struggled with is the confidence, that imposter syndrome, feeling that I'm not the right person for this. I'm not. I don't belong in this space, sort of thing. And I think for sure what we probably don't celebrate enough what the great work we're doing, and reach out to the Twitter communities, reach out to the GED communities. There are people out there who will be inspired by the tiniest thing that you think you do, which might be huge for someone else. So definitely get involved on social media, and celebrate everything you're doing, no matter how tiny it is. More so the fact that we're all in this hybrid remote learning sort of phase in our lives that is new to almost everyone. Get involved and just share, and that's how you build your own profile, you grow your own confidence, and things just get better and better from there.
Thank you, Abid.
Cool. PLN. That's the resounding message.
Brilliant.
And maybe that's the thing we need to make sure we capture from this is obviously there's 25 places, but there've been up to about 60 people watching live, and obviously more to come. So there's a PLN waiting to grow right now.
Absolutely. And please do share the YouTube link out with your colleagues, just in case they weren't able to make it. Let's try and get this in front of everyone who is eligible for this great mentoring scheme. I think on that note, I think we're going to sign off. I'm going to say a big thank you to everyone. Please do follow me on JustAGuy _LT, where we'll be posting information about the event, and also the journey about the cohort that have started potentially. So guys, once again, I know I keep on saying this, a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in. More importantly, go and enjoy your half term the best that you can.
Unless you're Johnny from Scotland, and I hope you had a good half term last week.
There we go. Yes, fair point, Ben. So guys, please, thank you. Go and enjoy your half term, and thanks again.
Thank you, Lawrence. Cheers, everyone.